One, two, three. One. Moon, blue, blue moon, dip, 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 blue, 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 blue moon, dip, 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 dip. So this song is for a couple of reasons. First of all, happy blue moon, or sturgeon moon as it's called. We're gonna have like this great visual for the next 3 days. Big, huge, round moon, full moon. Apparently, if it's red, it's because of the fires on the west. If it's not red, it's not supposed to be blue this time. It's supposed to be like that eerie kind of translucent white of the moon, but a full moon. Woohoo! If you're interested in learning a little bit more about it, you should read the post that Tracy did in What Do I Say, What Do I Do this morning, because it's all about the sturgeon moon. By the way, apparently this has something to do with the idea that in the Midwest,
The Great Lakes.
in the Great Lakes of America, the Great Lakes of America, the sturgeon are running right now, and it's a really good time to catch them if they're running. You know what I mean? You can. They're not that fast. Okay. 3 days is that moon, by the way. 3 days you're going to be seeing that full moon. And I read somewhere that this is your opportunity to embrace your individuality. Yeah. I'd like to embrace it right now by going back to sleep. I'm not going to lie to you. Yeah, I would. I would. I don't know about you, Indy, but I'm tired this morning.
Oh, yeah.
Did we do anything exciting yesterday?
Cleaned the stove.
It's probably why I'm so tired. We have this like, do you remember from the days that I used to do the show in the kitchen? I should go back there just to show you. But when we're done, we have this great big stove in there, stove and oven. What do you know the brand?
The U.S. stove.
Whatever it is, it's like what you would find in a restaurant. It's a commercial stove. It came with the house. We didn't put it in. It's awesome. Awesome. It's got 6 great burners and like a big, it doesn't matter. It's huge and it gets really dirty and it's really hard to clean. And it's the first time I'm working on it with Indy. And yesterday we spent hours on it and we're only about halfway done. It's a lot of work. Good morning. I think my father used to have sturgeon in the morning, like smoked sturgeon. Yeah. I think that's a thing. I think that's a thing. Good morning, Stephen. Thanks for reminding me about that. I do seem to remember my father having sturgeon in the morning. Okay, here's probably the most important thing today. Today is Earth Overshoot Day. And I'd never heard that before. And now that I've heard it, wait, let me add some light to the situation. Ooh, how about that? Now that I've added some light to the situation, let's talk about Earth Overshoot Day. I didn't know what it was. I never heard of it, but it's the day. Okay, so I don't know why this is so hard for me, but it's the day when we humans have used up more of nature and our resources from our planet than we could possibly renew in 1 year. And that means that as soon as that happens, we start going backwards and pretty soon we have no more Earth. Scientific studies, right? But this is a group, it's called earthovershootday.org. You can go to their website. It's a very cool website. If we move that date 5 days every year, we could stop overshoot by 2050. But we have to move that date back by 5 days every year. And they give us all these groovy ways to do that. If you go to the site, this particular month is refrigerant. I think that's what you call it. It's refrigerant management day today, week, month, whatever you call it. And all they're asking you to do is either not use your heat or air for the entire day or turn it down a few degrees. And that's going to save us a few days. And if we could make sure that every time someone gets rid of their air conditioner or whatever uses refrigerant in it, that, what do you call that stuff?
Refrigerant.
Oh, it is called coolant. Yeah. Freon, stuff like that. Very dangerous to the earth. It needs to be gotten rid of properly, and that could save us days and days. And then they give us this groovy chart. Glasses, please. Why, thank you. For instance, it takes 14 times as much biologically productive land to produce 1 ton of beef as it takes to produce 1 ton of grain. So, one of the things they're saying is that if we reduce our beef consumption, meat in general, our meat consumption by 50% and used more calories from plants, we would move overshoot day 17 days. That's a lot. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be 50%. What if it was 1 day a week when you would normally have beef? You do something, do some kind of pasta or grains instead. Yeah.
This year,
Yeah.
Earth Overshoot Day was on July 29th. That was the date that was calculated
Right.
that we exceeded resources.
July 29th. That means we're in overshoot right now.
Oh yeah, we passed that back then. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that date when you have paid all the taxes up to March or May. You've everything you've earned has gone to taxes, and after that, then you're for yourself. Kind of like that.
Yeah. I mean, anyway, there's this list of things you can do. Like, for instance, did you know that we could save 13 days by driving 50% less? Yeah, you learning to walk, use public transportation, ride sharing.
We did that this year.
Yeah, well, a lot of us didn't drive much this year. We should have saved a lot of days that way. Wasted food is another way that we can enlarge that like stretch out that footprint. Anyway, I strongly recommend that you go to move that date. What did I tell you it was? www.earthovershootday.org. I'll put it in the notes from today so you can go there. I really recommend that you look at it, share it. Like, we've been talking about that a lot lately. Doing nothing is being part of the problem. Get involved in something that matters to you. This might be it. Maybe it's time for you to get involved in saving the earth. I mean, it's your home, right? Save your home. Okay, what else? I mean, okay, I got to get off of that one because that one is just hounding me like crazy. It is also National Bao Day, BAO. You have bao? We had a little restaurant next door to us. I think it was a Vietnamese restaurant, not positive. I just know they didn't speak English there at all. This was years and years and years ago when I was still in the balloon business. And they made fresh pork bao every day. And that's why people went there, was for the pork bao. It's like this doughy, dumplingy kind of thing with something inside. It's bao day. I bow to you and say, go bow today. It's really good. If you haven't tried it, it's time. National Tooth Fairy Day. Yeah, people our age, we don't want to give up our teeth, do we? Doesn't cost us money to have teeth. It costs us money to get rid of teeth now. I did my kids, Tooth Fairy, it was like so cool in our house. Tooth Fairy would leave the kids notes. The kids would leave notes for the Tooth Fairies. We've got a dog that needs a little discipline here. Now, I know this sad story we got to tell you, but we have a doggy. We have a puppy doggy who's got a bad leg. Yeah. We're not sure why. We don't know what's going on, but Gloria's having really bad trouble walking, and Bailey still keeps picking on her. So we got to kind of nip that in the bud. Good morning, Ginny. Good morning, Ginny. Anyway, moving right along. It's pecan tort day. That sounds good. And eat a peach day. That is not happening in this house. I am not eating a peach. That fuzzy stuff on the outside of the peach, it annoys me. I don't like it. I don't want the ew, 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 ew. And canned peaches. The only thing I like about canned peaches is the song. Was it United States of America? Who sang that song? Peaches come in a can. You know that one? I don't know. I don't know the name of it. I think that's the name, just called Peaches. In the Southern Hemisphere, it's Hootie Hoo Day. I don't know if you remember, we had a Hootie Hoo Day. Hootie Hoo Day is when we chase away winter because spring is coming. In our case, I have my window open this morning. Check this out. I do. I opened the window because it's like 70 degrees outside right now. It's gorgeous outside. I'm dying to have that yummy, yummy coolness, light coolness come over me. It's delightful. Um, Happy birthday to Kristen Wiig, who spells her name with two I's, Kristen Wiig, Wiig. Do you know who she is? She's so cute. She was in Bridesmaids. She was, kind of the goofy one. She plays this pretty much the same character in every movie I've seen her in, but she's always very sweet and very funny, very likable. She used to be on Saturday Night Live. I don't really watch TV. Is there still a Saturday Night Live? Because if there is, maybe she's still on it. I don't know. I don't know. Ginny says it's only 60 degrees where she is. Wow. Winter is coming. Yeah. Happy birthday to Claude Debussy. He was an impressionist composer. His birthday was in 1862. He wrote Clair de Lune. That's not why I put him on the list today. I put him on the list because he's the guy who first said music happens in the silence between the notes. That's a quote we've all heard, but I don't know about you. I didn't know who said it. It was Claude Debussy. Yes. Steven says they're in the low 80s already. Wow, they've had a lot of humidity there for a week in Illinois. He's in Illinois. Oh, okay. So he's in the 80s, but he's 2 hours later than we are. Yeah. So in 2 hours, I'm sure we're going to be at least in 80. But yesterday, I don't think it even reached 100. It was delightful yesterday. Oh, I love this woman, 1893. I didn't realize that she was from so long ago. She was kind of a negative, dark character. But sometimes those are the funniest people around. I'm thinking like, I don't know, like Robin Williams. He was like hilariously funny, but he was a pretty dark character, don't you think? Anyway, it's Dorothy Parker's birthday. Dorothy Parker. She was known to be like the wittiest of wits, a writer, a conversationalist. And she's the one who said, men seldom make passes at girls who wear glasses. She started that, oh, I forgot the name of it now, but it was like a round table, a conversational round table with like the most famous authors of her time. She was pretty cool. She was also known for her little quips. Like when Calvin Coolidge died, she was quoted as saying, "The President of the United States has just died, Dorothy Parker." And she said, "Really? How do they know?" She didn't think he was much. And Katharine Hepburn was in some kind of play and she went to see it. So the reporters asked her after the show, what did she think of the show? And she said, "Why, Catherine, Catherine, her performance ran the gambit of emotions from A to B." Yeah. She was kind of nasty, I guess. I don't know, but she's so funny. You should read something by her just because it's her birthday and honor her birthday that way. Mm. Ray Bradbury's birthday. Author? Yeah. So when I think of Ray Bradbury, I think of Fahrenheit 451. I think of him. Oh, and he also wrote the Martian Chronicles. So those are the things that I know of him. So I think of him as a science fiction writer, but I think that's all the science fiction he ever wrote. He used to have the Ray Bradbury Theater on TV. I don't know if you watched it. So he wrote a lot of interesting, unusual stuff, but he wasn't really a science fiction writer in general. Oh, you know who else's birthdays today? 1940. Yeah. Valerie Harper. Valerie Harper played Mary Tyler Moore's kind of sidekick on the Mary Tyler Moore show. She was Rhoda, and it was her character was so popular that she had this like wildly popular spin-off show called, yeah, you guessed it, Rhoda. Loved that show. And then she went on to have her own show called Valerie, and she was in all kinds of stuff and always doing things, and she was funny and pretty, and yeah, she was really good, and I personally am a big fan, always have been. But one of my funnest balloon deliveries back in the day was when I was hired, and I don't even remember who sent them to her, but I think it was one of the TV executives wanted balloons sent to her on her birthday. Well, I was already a big fan, so instead of letting any of my employees deliver the balloons, I decided I would take them personally. So I did this great big bouquet of hand painted, because I used to do word art on balloons, hand painted balloons. And I went up to the west side of LA where she lived. She lived in a big condo. And I pushed the buzzer, and a guy answered, and I can't remember his name, but it was her boyfriend, and he was, oh my god, so hot. Anyway, I said, "Hi, I'm Sandy from Balloon Affair, and I have a delivery for Valerie for her birthday." And this is what he said to me: "I don't usually let people up here, but I think that would make her really happy. She's in the shower right now, but if you don't mind waiting, come on up." And he told me what apartment they were in. Okay. So I went up, and he met me at the door. Oh, what a heartthrob. No kidding. We sat in his living room, me holding this big bouquet of balloons and my kazoo and all dressed up to do this delivery. We sat and chatted in the living room for probably 15 minutes before she came out of the shower. And he had warned her that there was someone waiting in the living room for her with a surprise. She came out, what a regular person. She came out in a robe with her hair all wrapped in a towel, just like you or I would come out of the shower. I mean, star, no makeup, just lovely, lovely with no makeup. And she came out, and I played my kazoo, and I delivered the balloons and read them to her. And she had a good laugh and offered me a cup of coffee. And I hung out for a little while. I know you're not supposed to do that, but I was the owner of the company, so I figured it was okay. Anyway, there go the balloons. Valerie Harper, I toast you, darling, because you were just so sweet. Oh, you're my person. Good old Valerie Harper. Um, Also Stormin Norman Schwarzkopf. I'm not usually a fan of generals. I mean, maybe, like some, but I don't know what it was about Stormin Norman, but I just liked him. He was born in 1934 and he died in 2012. He was a four-star general, and I there was something about him that just made me feel safe, just being alive under his tutelage, I guess. I don't know. Happy birthday, Stormin Norman. I remember you. Um, Steven said, oh, Rhoda Morgenstern. Yes, Ginny, that was her name. And Steven says Ray Bradbury was born in Waukegan, Illinois. I did know that, and I forgot to mention it. Oh, I didn't know that. He came back and gave lectures here often back in the day. Did you ever go to one? Did you ever get to meet him? That would be very cool. Sometimes authors are not as interesting in person as they are when they're writing. I've met a number of authors thinking they were going to be the most interesting people in the world. Not so much. Not so much at all. Although I've met a couple of good ones. We'll talk about them another time. James Corden's birthday. He's young. He was born in 1978. He's younger than my children. He's also very funny. When he does that drive time sing along thing with famous people, he's hilarious. He is absolutely hilarious. And by the way, very talented. And there's a thing going around the internet that's I don't know, like 40 Broadway shows in 12 minutes or something like that. And he sings and dances and he's really good. Look for that. Okay, remember the other day we talked about the fact that the what's her name? The one who just the painting. Yeah, Mona Lisa. Did you like my Mona Lisa imitation? Anyway, it turns out, remember it was stolen and then it was returned 2 years later, and all the fact that they got into the Louvre to even steal it was like such a big news story, and it made the Mona Lisa even more important and famous. Yeah. Okay. However, it seems like on this day, just a few days later, in 2004, in Norway, The Scream by Edvard Edvard Munch, The Scream. You know the one I'm talking about, right? I mean, it's famous. The kid from what's his name? Macaulay, whatever his name is. He always looks like he's doing the Scream to me. Anyway, it was stolen in 2004. It too was recovered 2 years later. Just saying. Um okay, another story close to my heart. On this day in 1973, Richard Nixon named Henry Kissinger Secretary of State. Yeah. Now, as you know, I met Richard Nixon and I thought he was a true dick. Get it? Yeah, I didn't like him. He wasn't very nice when I met him. But Henry Kissinger, I don't know. I always had a thing for Henry Kissinger. Couldn't tell you what. Maybe he reminded me of my grandpa somehow or something. But there I was in New York one day at Mortimer's restaurant, where they have little tiny round tables and you sit very close to each other. It was a celebratory day. I'd had a particularly good, I was teaching a seminar and sold my stuff afterwards and sold tons of stuff and wanted to really, really splurge. So Mortimer's was a restaurant that normal people would go to for a splurge. And who do they sit at the table right next to me? And when I say right next to me, I mean, this was not COVID times. And this was a tiny restaurant where they really jammed people in. Like you could hear the conversations at the next table if you lean back a little bit, like that. It was Henry Kissinger. I was so excited. I tried so hard. I mean, I almost didn't enjoy my meal because I kept leaning back, like see if I could hear what they were talking about, see if I could pick up any state secrets. I didn't. I didn't. But he's still alive and well and working in Washington. Thank you for that info, Stephen. I just love Henry Kissinger. Anyway, I'm glad you were Secretary of State and I got to experience you. I don't know if you're really good at it or not, but I'm going to assume you were because I liked you. All right, musically, let's get to what happened on this day musically. In 1964, Alvin and the Chipmunks did an album that was cover songs of the Beatles, and they sold 25,000 copies a day. I don't know for how long, but is that amazing? The Chipmunks. I used to buy every Chipmunks album for my little brother because he was a big fan. I love the Chipmunks. I can't help it. There's a lot of things I love today. But somehow saying I love Kissinger and the Chipmunks in the same sentence, it doesn't ring true. Okay, in 1970, I wanna make it with you. That was it. Bread had that hit in 1970. And then a few years later, in 87, Madonna had Who's That Girl? Wasn't a huge day musically, not for me anyway, except for that Chipmunks. It's good. Let's move on to the word art of today. The word art is no, I'm not perfect, but I am on the spectrum. Think about that. You're just some degree away from perfect all the time. I like to say that you're perfectly you. And in terms of doing the things that you think you should be able to do perfectly, sometimes I know some of you don't agree with me, but sometimes perfect is actually going to ruin things. Sometimes when did you ever look at a face and maybe there's a cracked tooth or there's a little scar or a smudge and that's what makes it perfect for you. That's what attracts you. Perfection maybe gets boring. I don't know. My thing is, I'm already on the spectrum. And personally, I don't strive for perfection. I do strive for excellence. Excellence isn't necessarily perfect, but it's really, 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 really good. And if I get an occasional perfect thrown in, great. But my life doesn't have to be a 10.0. No, it doesn't. And I'm very happy with it the way it is. So you decide what you're thriving for. It's your life. But perfection, you're already on the spectrum. You might want to move the needle a little, further down the spectrum, but that's up to you. In the meantime, let me see if there's anything here I need that. Alvin! Yeah, perfection is overrated. We don't need perfection all the time. It'd be so boring. Besides, you got to learn from your mistakes, right? If you have perfection, you're not going to discover anything new. That's where all the good stuff comes. That's where the juice is. And if you're loving the journey, getting towards excellence, moving towards perfection, I don't know. To me, that's all that's important. All right. I don't know what happened to Indy this morning. He disappeared. I'm going to assume it's not good news, but I'll go find out. In the meantime, I know he's playing tennis today, and that's good. You're my person. You, right there. You. Yeah, the one wearing your underwear. You're my person. Happy Sunday. I know today is a day of rest, so go for it. Love you. Celebrate with a sip and a smile. And I'll see you when the new week begins tomorrow. Bye bye.